Hey, what's going on guys? Cal here, and today I'm going to be talking about the history of duping in Krunker.io. And yes, you heard that right, I'm going to be talking about duping today, taking an item, a skin in the game, and making more of it out of thin air. And this is honestly quite the controversial topic. Everything that I'm going to be going over happened a long time ago, but a lot of people did not even know that this went on because it was patched, and most of the people who abuse all these glitches are now banned. But I got some info from the OG Duper, and I also did ask Sid if I could make this video covering it because all of the scripts, bugs, glitches that he used to dupe items are now patched. He said that I could make this video. But before we get into that, make sure to leave a like and a comment if you end up enjoying this video, and also subscribe to the channel if you are new. And if you're gonna buy care in the Krunker shop, make sure to use code CAL to directly support me. But with all that aside, let's get right into the video. So the Krunker Marketplace released around July of last year, and back then the most standard simple way to make profit, basically still is honestly, was just to snipe items and sell for higher. And back then a lot of people used auto clickers to gain a slight edge, and I have said in previous videos before that auto clickers barely help because honestly in the end it comes down to your ping and connection to the server. However, around the end of August 2019, a user by the name of quotation was looking for a better auto clicker to snipe items with. And since this guy's name was kind of weird, I'm just gonna refer to him as the Duper because this guy was the OG Duper, the first person to dupe items and the biggest abuser of this, and he is actually the one who gave me all this information, so shout out to this mysterious source. And he created a JavaScript command which bought an item every 1 millisecond, so basically give him a millisecond accuracy on the snipes, and resulted in him easily getting like 90% of all the snipes on the market. But he said 90% is not 100%. The Duper got even greedier and he tried to do it on 2 tabs at the same time, but that resulted in him getting the item twice, and that ended up being the first dupe ever. So from then he told a few people about the script, and obviously it spread like wildfire until a bunch of people started duping. And I mean, it wasn't really insanely public because obviously everybody who was duping was keeping it on the down low, trying to keep that profit to themselves, but there was a solid amount of people who did do it. The Duper also found out that if you used multiple tabs, you can get an item even more than just twice, so you can make one snipe turn into 10 of the same items. As you guys can see in the screenshot right here, he duped a 1AD Matrix Code Contra AK 10 different times. Pretty crazy honestly. And also what this meant is because everybody was using the same script and getting the snipes on the millisecond, duping the items, everybody got the gun, so there was literally no competition. If you wanted to get a snipe and you used the script, then you were guaranteed the skin. On the other hand, duping items was really buggy, so sometimes buying the items multiple times counted as the same item and resulted in them going into separate stacks. So for example, if you had 2 acid howlers, instead of saying you had 2 acid howlers, it would say you had 1 acid howler 2 times, as you guys can see in this screenshot right here. But a problem is if you sold an item from one stack, then the other stack would disappear. So that's why the Duper had to list all of his 1ADs all at once. So as you can see in the screenshot again, all 10 on the market at the same time. But the only thing this resulted in was actually negative items. That's right guys, when he sold these glitched multiple stack items, which he had 10 of, it resulted in him getting -5 1ADs, which means that he had to buy 6 in order to have 1 again. It was super wild honestly. Whenever he first told me about this, I had no idea that this is what was going on and this is what it resulted in. But then after around a week of that happening, the devs did patch the glitch. They added the pop-up saying doing that too much, so if you get that pop-up then you know why. It's because people are abusing duping. So I believe from this pop-up you can't open too many tabs at the same time or buy too many things in quick succession. However, the Duper said it only took like 5 minutes to find a new, even better glitch. And this glitch, that's actually crazy. He was able to list items he didn't even have by changing the item ID in the console. So in this clip right here that he sent me, he said the console wasn't recorded, but you can see him listing a bunch of these warp sequence submachine guns, rainbow snipers, and Diablo wings, which were all pretty expensive items back in the day. And he listed these out of thin air just by changing the item ID in the console command. He could have even listed 21 KR frostbites, which would have been freaking nuts if he did, but I mean, I guess he didn't, just to avoid suspicion. And also another thing he did to avoid suspicion is, instead of undercutting all the listings, he went into the Krunker Market chat and he said that he was selling skins for 70% of market price. So whenever somebody wanted to buy a skin, they could just DM him. He'd do his little console command trickery and list the skin, and then someone would buy it. Boom, instant KR in his account, and less suspicion because people wouldn't see him having a bunch of items up on the market at once. And obviously from doing this, he got rich hella quick. However, the only problem was that he had every contra at negative balances, because when you're selling from console commands, apparently if you don't have the contra, then it will still take it from your account, resulting in negative units. And then one day, Mitch, you guys know him, probably one of the richest people in the game, pretty good friend of mine also, he listed a Frostbite on the market for 1 million KR. I believe this was the first Frostbite ever listed on the market. He got it from Sidney back in the day because he's also friends with Sidney. And the Duper wanted to buy the Frostbite, and the Duper was at 600,000 KR, while Bluff was at 950,000 KR, and you guys know who Bluff is. He's currently probably one of the richest people in the game. He's on top of the KR leaderboard with 2 million KR to this day, but he was balling out even back in this day, and he had almost enough KR to buy the Frostbite. However, the Duper just borrowed 400,000 KR from a friend and bought the Frostbite, basically stole it from Bluff, and in the following week he obviously made that 400k back just by duping items and paid his friend back, and from then on just kept on making money until somebody snitched on him and the glitch was reported. And whenever it was reported, it actually took multiple days for this glitch to get fixed. I don't know if you guys remember, but there were like 2 or 3 days at some point last year where the market was down. This message would actually show on the page if you went to the market. And yeah, because the Duper's account quotation was snitched on, it did get locked. So on your screen right now, you can actually see his DMs with Sidney himself. And Sidney said, "Hello broski, just investigating a few accounts that were duping items." Sidney actually said he'd unlock it if nothing turns up, and he said even if I do find something, I'll still unlock you, but I'll have to remove the items and all of that. The thing is, I guess the Duper had too many negative items. I mean, he was just too wealthy from abusing the glitches from illegal and illegitimate methods. So Sidney never got back to him. His account is locked and stays locked to this day. But no matter for that, because this dude, the mega-minded Duper, hopped on another account 10 minutes to find another glitch. I'll play the video here. As you guys can see, he went into the console and he opened multiple tabs and listed items multiple times for different KR amounts. And as you can see in the end of the video, it did result in a negative item. However, this time, instead of abusing it, he reported it to the devs because he wanted his account quotation to get unlocked. Keep in mind that this account still had the Frostbite, but according to him, they just patched the bug and they never responded to him. And that is basically where the duping situation ended. But yeah, because of this whole duping situation, a lot more contras were introduced to the market than should have been. I mean, obviously most of the story was following the Duper quotation mark, but a lot of people were duping, and a lot of rainbow snipers, you know, rainbow AKs, the Matrix Contras, Relic Wings, Contra Knives, a lot of the Season 1 items in general, they were just duped insane amounts. And obviously back then there wasn't a unit count, so we couldn't really see the unit count rising rapidly, and I can't really give an estimate on how many items were duped, but it is safe to assume that so many were. And I mean, these Season 1 skins are pretty expensive today, so could you imagine how more expensive they would be without duping? Because duping definitely introduced a bunch of units to the circulation of the market. Anyways, that is going to be it for the video, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, because the whole situation is just insane, and honestly I had no idea that all this was going on until the Duper gave me this info to make a video on. Yeah, leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you're new, and if you're going to buy KR in the Krunker shop, make sure to use code CAL. And thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Cal, and I'll see you guys next time.